Last fall, September and October, probably were the saddest days I've ever had as an academic administrator. These were the days when we recognized that the last dean of the Eastman School of Music, Doug Lowry, had to step down. And then the even sadder day that began with Marcia, who's here today, calling and saying he had died. I joined the Eastman community on both occasions. We shared terrible sorrow. Today, in contrast, is one of our happiest days. I'm delighted to announce, pending board approval, which I promise you will come, that I have selected Jamal Rossi to be the Joan and Martin Messinger Dean. Jamal's appointment comes at the conclusion of an international search that was led by our provost, Peter Lenny, who's also with us. It included several members of the Eastman faculty and a few others on the search committee. I want to especially thank not only Peter, but Christopher Azera, Paul Burgett, Jeff Campbell, Doug Humphreys, Chien Quan Lin, Patrick Macy, Betsy Marvin, Honey McConey, Carol Rodlin, Reinhold Steengrover, Robert Swenson, William Weiner, David Ying, Ricardo Zone Muldoon, and also Alan Cheplicki, who was the staff to the committee. I also want to express my deep gratitude to the many others who were involved in the interviewing of the finalists, including a trustees and friends committee that was chaired by our board chair emeritus, Bob Whitmer. It included Renee Fleming, Marty Messinger, Sandy Parker, and Mark Volpe. And especially thank Beth Taylor and Elizabeth Bowen, who served as outside search consultants. Eastman is the crown jewel of the University of Rochester. It is, in some respects, the school with the greatest and most deserved international reputation. It is one of this nation's leading schools of music, indeed one of the world's leading schools of music. The finalists for this deanship were individuals of great talent. In selecting Jamel, I chose the most talented of a very rich candidate pool. Jamel has an outstanding record of accomplishment. He's not only on 3 separate occasions acted as dean, but he's been the executive associate dean from 2007 until September of 2013. I think I first grew to appreciate his extraordinary talent as a leader during his leadership of the Eastman Theater renovation and expansion project. And this was a project where Doug really asked Jamel to take the lead. And to put it mildly, it was a complicated project over several years. Every carefully crafted detail of that project, the great quality, the achievement of the theater on time, and for once I can't say quite on budget, but really close, is a monument to Jamel's leadership. Since September, Jamel has served as dean, and he's done a great deal during a period where we had a search going on. He's created new partnerships with Chamber Music America and the New World Symphony. He's particularly been recognized by the Seven Springs Group for a new leadership conference he's organized. He's taken initial steps to create new degree programs in fields as variegated as convergent artistry, composition for digital media, and music leadership. He's empowered a faculty committee to study online. He's established Eastman Immersion, a new program to be launched this fall to enable talented high school students to spend a gap year at Eastman. But in selecting a dean, more than anything else, we look to the future. And the challenge for Dean Rossi and the challenge for Eastman now is strategic. The world of music is changing. It is a world in which one of the great traditions of graduates of Eastman to serve in symphony orchestras is less assured. It is a world in which new competition from new conservatories and schools of music or from better endowed schools of music is more evident. It is a world in which the very landscape is being transformed by new technology. Jamel impressed me as a dean who has the right balance, someone who cherishes the tradition and legacy of Eastman, and someone who wants to lead it into what will be an extraordinary period of change. Changes that will touch the second century of Eastman soon may include potential development of Block F, which you all know across the street, that wonderful prosaic name for the property that, among other things, may evolve into a mini college town and new teaching space for Eastman. New partnerships, potentially in China and in Europe, completion of the renovation of Messinger Hall, a new and ambitious advancement campaign to support scholarships, faculty enhancement, program support. A dean wears many hats. He or she must be an impresario, a manager, a catalyst, a planner, practical enough to solve problems, a visionary who can work with faculty, staff, alumni, and students to imagine and actualize the future. In Jamel, we found the right dean for this time in our future. We found someone with a proven record of accomplishment. We found someone with a steady hand. We've also found someone with talents that will become more evident in the years to come. Jamel is ambitious for all of you. He's ambitious to take this school still further. And I have to confess, if I may end on a slightly facetious note, while Eastman has been led for decades by individuals with extraordinary musical talent, in Jamal Rossi, we have the first dean with sax appeal.
Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you all for a tremendously generous reception. Truly, I'm deeply moved by that. President Seligman and Provost Lenny, honored guests and friends, I am tremendously honored to have this opportunity to serve as the Joan and Martin Messinger Dean of the Eastman School of Music. Serving as dean this past year has been one of the great privileges of my life. But as I accept this new appointment, it carries this title, the Joan and Martin Messinger Dean. Marty Messinger and Joan have been tremendously valuable friends and supporters of the University of Rochester and the Eastman School of Music for years. Since I arrived at Eastman, Marty has become an extremely close friend and mentor to me, and for that I am very grateful. I could not be more pleased than to be associated with the names Joan and Martin Messinger, and I am extraordinarily honored and humbled to be the second person to occupy this endowed chair. Now, over the past 9 years, I have been incredibly fortunate to be a member of this remarkable community. A community of artists and scholars who are so completely committed to teaching extraordinary students. A community of professional staff members whose professionalism and commitment to excellence is inspiring. And to a community that is committed to making a meaningful difference in the world through music. That right there, I believe, is our purpose. To make a meaningful difference in the world through music. You see, I absolutely believe in the power of music to transform lives. I have experienced it personally, and I have witnessed it repeatedly throughout my life. I believe music exists to enrich life. It has been at the heart of the human experience for tens of thousands of years, and there is nothing to indicate that it will not continue to be so for as far into the future as we can imagine. Music is with us throughout our lives. We turn to it to celebrate our greatest joys, and we turn to it during our most profound tragedies. Music exists to enrich life, and I believe that we are tremendously privileged to have a role in advancing that purpose. My friends, I am so proud and excited to be a member of this school, the Eastman School of Music, which is known throughout the world for musical artistry, for excellence in scholarship, for creativity, innovation, community engagement, leadership, but above all, it is known for excellence. Even in this ever-changing world, these traits and values are still the formula for success in music and for a bright musical future. Ours is a school with a rich tradition. Our challenge and our opportunity in the coming years is to enhance that tradition while simultaneously being bold and courageous enough to transform ourselves and our school into the most innovative music school for the 21st century. There is no doubt that the music world is changing rapidly and dramatically. The impact of digital technology has completely disrupted the traditional ways that music is experienced and consumed. The traditional boundaries between styles and genres of music are becoming increasingly blurred, and long-standing institutions like symphony orchestras and opera companies are challenged in ways unprecedented in their histories. Yet, even amidst these ongoing changes and challenges, young people are still transformed by the power of music. And they choose to commit their lives to making and studying music. They do so not because they anticipate guaranteed jobs or financial wealth. They do so because they desire, or perhaps I should say, they need to share this transformation they have experienced with others through their music. The students who come to Eastman today are as talented, as enthusiastic, as optimistic about the future of music as any students in the history of our school. Dare say perhaps more so. It is through them and because of them that I have great optimism about the future of music. Yes, the music world is changing, and yes, it can be scary. But we have to remember that music has always been a competitive profession in which excellence has always prevailed. We must retain an unwavering commitment to excellence in all that we do. Now, as we look towards celebrating the centennial of our school in 2021, I want Eastman to assume the mantle of leadership it has earned over many decades by transforming the study of music to best prepare our students for this rapidly changing world. In so doing, I desire for our students to graduate as outstanding musicians and musical leaders who will transform the ensembles with which they perform, the institutions where they work, the lives of the students they teach, and the communities where they live. I want to reinvigorate Eastman's engagement on the national and international stages and to be active participants in the dialogue about the future of music. I believe by partnering with other premier institutions, we can amplify the impact of our efforts. Having had the privilege of serving as dean this past year and building upon all those who have come before us, we have already begun laying the groundwork for some of these initiatives. As President Seligman indicated, this past year we invested considerable time and effort exploring innovative new degree programs in contemporary media composition, convergent artistry, and music leadership. As has been the case with other programs launched at Eastman in the past, I believe these new programs have the potential to become the models upon which other programs will be built around the country. We have already begun forging important new partnerships with national and international arts organizations like the New World Symphony, Chamber Music America, and the other leading music schools in this country. In the coming years, I intend to create a truly robust presence in New York City by increasing our activities significantly. This past year, with the establishment of the Lowry Prize through the generosity of our good friend Dr. George Abraham and the Abraham Foundation, we established a concert series at Carnegie Hall's famed Weill Recital Hall, in which Eastman students will present 2 recitals every year. Just last week, 70 students performed at Carnegie Hall as members of the Eastman Rochester Chorus in collaboration with the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra in a truly stunning performance of Howard Hanson's Marymount. Next year, we will continue to send students to perform at Weill Recital Hall. Our jazz students will be performing at Jazz at Lincoln Center, and we will host a national conference in New York City titled How to Succeed in a Changing Music World. And after an absence of many decades, the Eastman Philharmonia will return to New York City in a concert featuring one of our most illustrious graduates, Renee Fleming. I spoke with Renee earlier this morning, and I think the trick is simply finding a date that will fit into her calendar, but she is excited to be a part of this, and I can't wait for all of us to meet again in New York City to celebrate that. We also continue to increase our commitment to enriching the community of life in Rochester through new programs like Rock Music, a collaborative partnership between Rochester's leading arts and education institutions that provides tuition-free after-school music instruction to inner-city children. And through increased concert presentations of world-renowned artists like Itzhak Perlman, Leon Fleischer, James Galway, and many others. Next year's concert season is already greatly expanded over this, and we anticipate continuing to expand the breadth of our concert offerings in the years ahead. So here's the thing, there are so many initiatives and projects that excite me, and I can hardly wait to get started, but we're at the end of an academic year. And so many of you are like, oh, I can't wait to get home. And I'm like, I can't wait for the fall semester to get started. So we will wait. Everybody will get their summer, and we will lay the groundwork for a great year. Before I conclude, there are some people that I must acknowledge. First, it was truly my great fortune to have been a friend and close collaborator with our former dean, Doug Lowry. As you all know, we lost Doug far too soon, and he still had much that he wanted to accomplish. I will be forever grateful for the many important contributions that Doug made to our school, and I look forward to building upon some of the dreams and initiatives that we shared together. Doug's wife and our friend Marcia Lowry is with us today, and I ask you to join me, and also Tim is with us today. I ask you to join me in recognizing them and Doug for their tremendous commitment to our school. One of the things I'm truly looking forward to is next October, the main hall out here will be dedicated formally as the Lowry Hall, and it will be a time to truly celebrate, once again, the life of a truly extraordinary person. I also want to recognize the strongest leadership team any dean in the world could ever hope to work with. These people were instrumental in helping to lead Eastman during this past year of transition. I want you to join me in recognizing and thanking Michelle Gibson, Donna Brink-Fox, Marie Rolfe, Matthew Artizone, Ray Ricker, Kathy Hain, Howard Potter, and Mark Berry for their exceptional work on behalf of our school. And I have to say that whatever success I've enjoyed in my career, I owe wholly to my dear wife, Pam. Truly, she is my dearest friend, my greatest encourager, and the love of my life. And I am so thrilled that she is here today to celebrate this honor with me, along with two of our three children, Leah and Sarah. Please help me to thank them. So over the past few months, I've spent a good deal of time talking about my vision for the future of Eastman. However, one of the things that most excites me about becoming the dean is the opportunity to begin anew the dialogue about the school that we desire to be together. I believe one of the most important responsibilities of the dean is to harness and shape the individual aspirations and motivations of the entire community. Our faculty, staff, students, administration, our alumni and friends, and our supporters, all into a collective vision. I am anxious to listen to your hopes and dreams and to begin the dialogue about the school we wish to be in the future. The story of the Eastman School of Music is filled with an endlessly rich legacy of experiences and important accomplishments, but this story is so far from complete. We are going to write the next chapters of our great school together, chapters that I know are going to be marked by innovation, transformation, artistry, and excellence. Once again, I thank you for affording me this great privilege. I pledge to devote my full and dedicated commitment to advancing Eastman to new levels of excellence and international recognition. I thank you very much.